QuaranJazz. Listen while you're home. Hello and welcome to the 13th episode of QuaranJazz, your weekly update on what jazz musicians from all around the world are doing during social distancing time. I'm Geisa Fernandes, singer, songwriter and music researcher from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Well, depending on where you're listening this podcast from, you might be already in some phase 2, maybe 3, of the back to the new normal situation. Here in Brazil, we have a lot of cases going on. We are still under restricted lockdown measures. So as long as I'm confined, this show goes on. If you're a jazz musician and would like to share your experiences with us and tell me what your current situation is, what are your projects for this year that's kind of about to start, I guess, well, don't be shy. Drop me a line. And for that, you can either use the contact form on my website, geisafernandes.com, or you may prefer to subscribe to my mailing list and get regular exclusive content from me. The links to both my mailing list and my website will be in the description of this episode. Or maybe you prefer to join my Facebook community. I've created a group called the QuaranJazz Musician. The group is named after a guide I wrote on jazz festivals that accept submissions directly from artists. So if you are an indie artist and would like to know more about the jazz festival scenes, join the group, the QuaranJazz Musician, on Facebook. QuaranJazz is also a proud participant of the Social Distancing Festival. If you want to know more about this amazing action, guess what? The link will be also in the description of this episode. My guest this week comes from Moçambique, so we could say that it's the Portuguese connection QuaranJazz, because both Brazil and Moçambique are countries which official language is Portuguese. And I'm going to talk to jazz saxophonist, composer, producer, academic, and philanthropist Moreira Chonguiça. I know that's quite a curriculum, but I could sum it up by saying that Moreira is one of the finest exponents of original jazz coming from Africa. He's an independent artist with 7 celebrated award-winning albums, involved in a lot of interesting projects. Without further ado, Moreira Chonguiça. Hi, Moreira. Thank you so much for your participation. Really appreciated it. Thank you. I usually ask the guests to start with an introduction, talking about their music, their influences, describing themselves. Let's?
Hello. My name is Moreira Chonguiça from Mozambique. I'm a musician. I play the saxophone. I'm a producer, songwriter, ethnomusicologist, and I work as well in a lot of social projects in my country, not only in Japan, in South Africa, whatever I can. I have been influenced by my family first. They are the ones who introduced me to music and to the values of respect for culture as a whole. What I mean is the principles that my father left regarding culture were first respect to human beings. Once you respect human beings, you automatically respect their influences, their culture, their heritage, where they come from, and their influences. Being in Mozambique, we are very fortunately, because we live in a very, I would say we have 2,700 kilometers of coast, which in a way brought us a lot of influences into our beautiful country, starting from people that came from different parts of the world, the Arabs, the Europeans, the Asians, but yet we can live together in harmony and peace, as well as when they came to our country, they found our heritage, okay? We have different tribes, different ethnic groups, I would say. If you Shopi, Makonde, Makua, or Sena, name it, so many, but yet we know how to live in harmony and respect. So I'm influenced by all of that. I'm not just influenced by music. I'm influenced by people, and this is what makes me, and I believe that this values is what makes us create, in this particular case, the music that we create, with the values that we have, with positive aspirations and ambitions for a better Mozambique, a better continent of Africa, and a better world. So, in a way, this is me. Regarding influences in music, there's so many. But the way I position myself, I'm not just influenced by music. I'm influenced by stories, because I'm influenced by people. Regarding music, Miles Davis is one of the greatest influences. Manu Dibango, Fela Kuti, Yuma Sikela, Miriam Makeba. And I'm talking about jazz, but then there's the technical side, being a saxophone player, that you have to like Charlie Parker, John Coltrane, Cannonball. You can't but avoid that. But saying that, I'm also influenced by the lifestyle, cinematography. I like photography, for instance. I love movies. I love theater. I love people that, in a way, manage to break some stereotypes and taboos of what was impossible to do, that it's possible to do. And this is the kind of people I admire. For instance, I like Spike Lee as a movie director or producer. I love Oswald Botang. I admire. I like people that, in a way, I like Cristiano Ronaldo as a soccer player, but also as a human being that goes through challenges. And I like people that fight for what they believe. Of course, being an African, I'm a Pan-Africanist, and we can't speak about Africa without speaking about politics and ways of being and ideologies. So Leopold Senghor, Eduardo Mondlane in Mozambique, the late Lumumba, Mandela, etc. So all those things make me who I am as a person, and this is the values that I try to take to my family.
Wow, that's awesome. And Moreira, I would like to correct myself, because in the beginning of this episode I described you as a philanthropist, but I think what you really are is an activist. And it's a compliment. I think that more than ever, we need people saying clearly what they are, which causes they are standing for. And you definitely do it. So congratulations on this beautiful work you do. You know, I was listening to you and thinking that the relationship of Moçambique, Brazil, or Africa, Brazil, if you wish, musically speaking, this is already a podcast theme on itself. We should think about it. Maybe we should do it. So, Moreira, I imagine your agenda for 2020 was quite busy, and then the COVID crisis came and, well, disturbed everything. But anyway, I would like to know, what are we missing? So, which projects were you involved with when it all happened?
When the coronavirus started, or COVID-19, we were, this was going to be such a big year. And but unfortunately, we have to respect nature, and that's what we know how to do best, is to respect nature. At the moment when that started, we were working on a project in Namibia for the past 6 months for the Independence Day of Namibia, as well as the inauguration of the President Gangop, who won the elections. So we were working in Namibia, in Windhoek. Amazing country, amazing people, and I take the advantage to say thank you once again. Where we were working on this musical for the inauguration, but unfortunately because of coronavirus, everything had to be changed to readapt because the world changed so fast, okay? So it happened in the midst of this coronavirus pandemic situation that it was like a thermic shock to all of us, and still. And as well, we were working with the Herbie Hancock Institute of Jazz in New York, as well as UNESCO, for the International Jazz Day celebrations that happen every year on the 30th of April. And this year, for the first time, the celebrations were going to South Africa, Cape Town in particular, and I was chosen to be part of it, and it's been cancelled as well. I was very sad, but anyway, it's life. It's what it is. We were also working in Germany for the Jazz Ahead conference, or whatever you call that was also in April. And yeah, everything, I don't want to even talk about that, because otherwise I'll become depressed if I start mentioning the things that have been cancelled. It is what it is. We have to reinvent ourselves. But we were working on a huge number of big projects internationally that unfortunately had to be cancelled. We mustn't feel sorry for ourselves. It's a global issue. We have to face it. We have to accept it, face it, and look for different ways to... first, we have to be safe. We can't do anything if we're not safe. We have to be safe, not just me, my family, my community, my country. We need to be safe in order to find different ways of reinventing our positioning for the next 10, 20 years.
Gee, this must have been so frustrating. So sorry, especially sorry about the Jazz Ahead global event. I know how important this event is for jazz musicians and all, but as you said, it's time to respect nature. Sometimes we forget it, but right now it's pretty clear. There's nothing we can do. And there are so many lessons to be learned. For instance, how to rearrange priorities, things that were so important a few months ago. They are now occupying another place in our scale. And talking about important things. Which are your current activities, Moreira?
Activities now that we are doing more collaborations, as well as motivating people and trying to find ways and means to see if artists and musicians in particular get some sort of income, because everything is being cancelled. Okay, I was particularly involved in this project that I think called One, for the channel One, WAN, with the slogans Together as One, alongside another 200 artists for the Africa Day. And me and my team as well, through our channels, social media platforms, also have been promoting and talking about the essence of Africa, using the vehicle of music. So these are the types of things that we are doing at the moment. We need a lot of moral support first. Money is important. We need money now, yes, indeed, but we need moral support. We need to be focused, because the world is sober now, and we have to define what we want. When you talk about future is today. The future is not tomorrow, because we didn't know this was going to happen. So it's important that people take a day at a time, that measure risks carefully, and that we should be more positive than ambitious, because otherwise the future can be a mess if we are not careful. Because we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. In Moçambique in particular, my president, Filipe Jacinto Nunes, announced yesterday the extension of the state of emergency for another 30 days, starting on June 1st. So which means we are going on our third month of a state of emergency. We're not under lockdown yet, but everything has changed. Tours have been canceled, bars have been closed, people are losing their jobs, musicians don't get work. So we need to be positive. We need to be psychologically strong in order to look at the future. But the future is today, is now, and we have to take a day at a time.
The future is today. I like this sentence. I really do. I think it explains a lot of the spirit of times, so to speak. And I also totally understand what you say, when you say that sometimes support is more important than money itself, although money is very important, we all know that. And now for our listeners, if you'd like to know more about those projects that Moreira are involved with, check moreiramusic.com and show your support. And Moreira, you still sound pretty busy. And what about the track we are going to hear? What can you tell us about it?
The song you're going to listen to it's called Mjita. Mjita, it's a term used I lived in South Africa for a while, which was amazing. I built a family of friends in South Africa, and my recording label, and it's there, and I live in Cape Town. And there's a term that I always heard, Mjita. This was the idea of this cute, handsome guy that lived in the township, and the townships in Brazil will be the favelas, okay? Which he did nothing. This guy did absolutely nothing. He woke up, he didn't work, he didn't help his family, but every day he smelled good, he looked good, the shoes were clean, like a preppy kind of old school look. He ate the best food, drank the best drinks. All the young women, middle-aged, and older women loved him. So he got everything for free. So this is a song called Mjita that I would like to play. The recording process of this song was recorded on my second album called Citizen of the World, Moreira Project Volume 2, Citizen of the World, which actually this album got 2 awards at the South African Music Awards. The first award for Best Album Cover and the second award for Best Contemporary Jazz Album. So I'm very proud of this record, and you got to listen to it. You'll see this guy, always clean, handsome, shaved all the time, wears a nice hat. He's got a cheese cup, which means his head is shaved, but he does absolutely nothing with his life. But everybody loves him. So that's it for now. I think I went over the time, and I hope to speak to you soon. Thank you very much.
I think that Mjita would correspond maybe to the malandro figure in Brazil. A guy that would make his living through gambling, half-legal activities. I see some similarities, gonna check it out. But I got the picture. I hope our listeners do as well. Very interesting. Well, Moreira, thank you very much for your participation. I know you're a busy guy, so I really appreciate you taking your time and being part of QuaranJazz. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure having you here. Let's think about that future podcast thing, shall we? And good luck with all your projects. Well, this was the 13th episode of QuaranJazz. Thank you very much for staying with us. And if you would like to make suggestions, comments, or if you're a jazz musician and would like to share your stories with us, just drop me a line. The link to my website and to my mailing list will be in the description of this episode. You can also find me on Facebook. Join the group, The Touring Jazz Musician, if you'd like to know more about jazz festivals that accept submissions directly from artists. The Touring Jazz Musician, join the community. I'm Geisa Fernandes from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, saying goodbye till next week. And now, ladies and gents, Omjita. QuaranJazz. Listen while you're home. QuaranJazz, a podcast by Geisa Fernandes.